What's up, everybody? It's Jordan, and welcome to the Sports Dude Hine Show. And this is my part 4 of my part 32 series where I do a free agency mock simulation and a 3-round mock draft for each NFL team. This one is of the New York Jets. And joining me in today's video is a New York Jets fan. I have Kenny from Kenny the Sports Guy, a podcast. How you doing today, Kenny?
Hey, how you doing, man? I'm doing good. Just hanging in there, working hard. It's a pleasure to be on the show again.
Yeah, really glad you can, join my video today so we can kind of talk about, your favorite team in New York Jets, this Jets team. I am so freaking excited for this year. I'm not even a Jets fan, and I'm so intrigued by this team. With some of the, moves they have done, cutting some of these guys like Shaq Lawson, they have like $60 million in cap space with a quarterback who I think is going to be really good. They have 2 top 10 picks this season. Very intrigued by the Jets. So we already cut Shaq Lawson. The Jets cut him several weeks ago. Like I said, they have $60 million in cap space. So who are some guys you think the Jets should maybe end up re-signing?
Oof. Where to begin with that, actually, man? Let's see. Oof. The first person that didn't resign is Braxton Berrios because he actually carried the team last year. And he's clearly the best number 1 receiver in the Jets have right now. Because Jamison Crowder, he's a good wide receiver, but he gets injured a lot. So he's very injury prone. So I would rather re-sign Braxton Berrios over Jamison Crowder. And also, we need help in the O-line because that O-line we have this year just murdered Zach Wilson. So I don't think we should sign any O-line now. I think we should just wait till the draft. Like, we should draft Ikem Inowu from NC State. I think he's a really good offensive lineman. We're not sure about what happened with Mekhi Becton because he got hurt, and some say that his career is over. So if I was Jets, I might as well, draft the O-line and draft somebody in the cornerback position because our secondary just got straight up murdered last year with the deep threats out there. Just focus on signing a top-notch wide receiver, re-signing Berrios, drafting a young and up-and-coming O-line and a cornerback.
Yeah, when I look at the Jets, there's 3 guys I really think they should end up re-signing. I would say Braxton Berrios, Marcus May, because,
Marcus May too, yeah.
If he's not in the secondary, Kyle Hamilton, the safety from Notre Dame, he could be there at the 4th pick, but you're not really for sure. And you don't really want to take that chance of just hoping a guy's available and not re-signing your guy because of that. So Berrios, Marcus May, and also Eddie Pinheiro. The Jets have kind of had some kicking issues, and I feel like he's kind of done a decent job for them this past season. So Braxton Berrios, I would say probably around $4 million for him, maybe 4 or 5.
I would give it 6.
All right, 6. Let's see here.
Yeah,
it's interesting because you have some of these guys like Berrios, who are gonna, if you give him 4 or 5, maybe even 6, he's gonna, be very productive and make worth that $6 million contract. So, are you thinking 3 or 4 years for Berrios?
I would give him a 3-year, $6 million deal.
All right, we'll have the percentage probably about around 65, 70, because I would say that's probably what most are, and that would make some sense. So he accepts the deal, so we're able to get Berrios. We'll try Marcus May. I'm kind of thinking in the 10 to 12 range for Marcus May. Are you kind of thinking the same way for that?
10 to $13 million price range there. I think for maybe 4 to 5 years.
It's interesting because when you look at Marcus May and you look at other guys, somebody really to look out for is Jesse Bates. If Jesse Bates signs a contract worth $60 million or something like that, don't be surprised when Marcus May gets like 13. Or, if Bates gets lower, maybe Marcus May gets paid a little bit less than people kind of anticipated. I think that's something to keep an eye on for, especially with Bates being with the Bengals. Hopefully we'll end up signing him. Obviously, if you're new to my channel, you would know that I'm a big Bengals fan.
Yep.
Eddie Pinheiro, kickers don't get much. I was kind of thinking just like $2 million 2, 3? Are you kind of
I
thinking?
would, I would, I would sign him for a 1 year deal to see how he does this season, and maybe 2 to 3 million.
Yeah, it's interesting because you look at kickers type of like some kickers are really really good, and some guys might have one good season.
Mm-hmm.
And Eddie Pinheiro has had one good year, and let me see here. Eddie Pinheiro has had one good season, and if you have him on a 1 year deal, I think that's a good idea because it's kind of a prove it deal. Like, okay, you played one good year. Let's see if we can do it again. If we do it one more time, we'll give you a better contract. And, we've seen many teams do that the past several years with specifically like rebuilding teams. I know the Houston Texans did that a lot this past year. Guys like Jeff Driscoll, guys like Alex Erickson and people like that. So many guys. And then if they pay off, you give them a better contract. So with the Jets, after we re-sign those guys, we have $47 million in cap space. Normally, about $4 to $5 million is saved for rookie draft picks. So just above, I would guess, let's say $40 million. To me, there's a couple guys I'm very interested in. There's Mike Williams, Michael Gallup, Mackenzie Alexander, the slot corner. I think he's very underrated. AJ Kane, the guard from Jacksonville. Carlton Davis, the corner from Tampa Bay. Riley Reef, the right tackle from Cincinnati. Also, if the Jets want to be, spenders, maybe Brandon Sharif, the guard from Washington. And it's one of those situations where, those offensive linemen are very expensive, but at the same time, you don't want to take a chance and having Zach Wilson end up like Joe Burrow. I mean, it sucks having a team who, if you just give them a little bit better offensive line, they can be great. And I feel like that's the exact same way for Zach Wilson and the Jets. So is there anybody who you're very interested in targeting in free agency?
Oof. I'm looking at the wide receiver free agents right now, and okay, before we get into it, Devontae Adams is not going nowhere. He's going to stay with the Packers somehow. Mike Williams could be a nice addition. Chris Godwin could play in the slot. I really like Michael Gallup. I mean, he got hurt last year. I mean, he's been hurt throughout the entire year, and he has shown that he could be productive in the offense. And I really like Michael Gallup. Odell, he's staying in Los Angeles. Allen Robinson, he could be a nice addition. Juju Smith-Schuster. Oh man, I like him, but he's on TikTok a lot, and he's on social media a lot, and I don't want that in my team. But as for the rest, I would, I would take a flyer back on Jameson Crowder. He has been pretty productive as well. AJ Green, maybe, but for me, I think I would just sign either Michael Gallup or Chris Godwin for the wide receiver part.
And it's very interesting because both these guys got hurt this past season, and that really helped. That really hurt their market. Chris Godwin. There was rumors that he could possibly be the next highest paid wide receiver aside from Devontae Adams. With him getting hurt in the year, that's probably not going to happen. Gallup, I think he's actually underrated a little bit, and it's interesting. I think Chris Godwin, I think he's going to get probably 18 to 22. I know it sounds crazy, but I think that's a good possibility. Michael Gallup, it's interesting. I think Michael Gallup could be in the 14 to 17 range, and I feel like if you get him anywhere between that, I think that's a pretty good thing for the Jets because you get just another weapon for Zach Wilson, him, Corey Davis, Berrios, Elijah Moore, and if Denzel Mims could finally do something, man, this Jets team is going to be fun. So with Michael Gallup, what are you kind of thinking for his contract?
Well, for me, Michael Gallup, I think I have to agree with your thing, with your contract negotiations, but I think I could see him making 18, 19 million a year for that offense. I mean, he could easily be the number one option. Well, secondary other than Braxton Berrios.
All right, we'll try 18 here. Now this is the interesting part because normally contracts are 3 or 4 years, and it's one of those deals you don't want to have everybody on 4-year deals because they're all going to be free agent at the same time. You don't want to have everybody to 3-year. Mm-hmm. You kind of want to even them out. So are you kind of thinking a 3 or 4 year deal for Michael Gallup?
I would say 2. I think a 2-year deal would be good.
All right, well, 2-year deal here for $18 million with Michael Gallup. We'll try 75% guaranteed. I mean, if the Jets get him, that is a major help at wide receiver. In my opinion, I think they already have a nice wide receiver group, but they just need one more guy. So other guys here, like I mentioned, you mentioned corner to begin the show. Robert Saleh's defensive-minded coach, and they had a horrible defense last season. That's not going to happen again. Another defensive-minded coach. Some of the guys here: Kyle Fuller, Dante Jackson, Stefan Gilmore.
I could see the Jets signing him.
Gilmore.
Yeah, Gilmore.
What are you kind of thinking for Gilmore?
Well, let's face it. I don't think he has been the same player, years past. So I would give him maybe a 1-year, $12 million deal. I would take a flyer on him definitely because he could return to form.
Yeah, that's the exact price I was kind of thinking, and I think a 1-year deal would be smart for him, kind of like we talked about before. Prove it, and if you're good, we'll extend you. And, Gilmore hasn't really been himself the past several seasons, but that would be a great signing for the Jets. Some of the guys here, let's see here. Desmond King, Eli Apple.
Don't bring Eli Apple over here.
Unfortunately, I have to deal with that for right now. Probably for a couple more years. Let's see here, edge guys. See if anybody interesting. Justin Houston's getting up there in age. Jason Pierre-Paul, Melvin Ingram, Dante Fowler Jr., Hassan Reddick, Charles Harris, who's going to go with the Lions this past season. Jordan Willis. Jordan Willis kind of intrigues me a little bit because he's with the 49ers and he spent some time with Robert Saleh in San Francisco. I'm kind of interested in him. I think that's a possibility. What are your kind of thoughts on Willis?
Willis could be a good edge rusher for us. I think C.J. Mosley is pretty good, but he gets injured a lot. But Jordan Willis would make a perfect addition to the team.
I'm kind of thinking with him 4-ish, maybe 5 at the max, in my opinion, because he's one of those guys. I think he might take a tad bit of a pay cut and might not sign as much since he has familiarity with the Jets head coach. I'm kind of thinking 4 for maybe 1 or 2 years. What are you kind of thinking there?
So for him, I'll probably give him a 1 to 2 year deal worth maybe $8 to $9 million. I think that would be a good offer.
I would try him for 8 here.
$8 million, $8 to $9 million. That'd be good.
Or you say 2 years?
1 to 2 years.
All right, we'll do a percentage here. All right, well, let's kind of see who we were able to sign. Let's see. So we're able to get all 3 of those guys: Gilmore, Jordan Willis, and Michael Gallup. It's a very nice addition to this Jets team. So let's see how much money we have left. We have $14 million left. So to me, I'm really looking at the interior offensive line. I know left tackle is probably going to be, they have some issues there. They probably have found their starter, Mekhi Becton. There's a chance he can get traded. Quentin Spain, I like him a lot. I really hope Cincinnati ends up re-signing him. A.J. Kane, Laken Tomlinson. Some of those guys intrigue me. Also, Connor Williams. Is there any kind of offensive lineman or guards you're kind of looking at here for the Jets to possibly get in free agency?
Well, the only guard I'm looking at right now is Quentin Spain. I think he's good. He's gonna make a good offensive lineman. I like go down a little bit. Scott Quisenberry as well. I think he will be like a cheap option as well. Brian Winters is getting up there in age, but he could be good as well. And Kyle Long could benefit. I think he just came out this year. He came out of retirement this year to play for the Chiefs. And maybe him. Richie Incognito, no. But as for me, I will have to say Quisenberry would be a good pickup. And I like Spain as well.
I really, really, really like Spain. And it's interesting because I saw a projected cap thing for him, his projected signing per season. And I believe it was like $7 million, which I think that's very good. I'm thinking like 7 to 9 range because I think he's one of the more underrated guards, but at the same time, I feel like the last game they see of Quentin Spain, he was really bad against Aaron Donald, so people might want to take as many flyers on him because his last game they saw was pathetic, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking probably about 8 for 3 years. Are you kind of thinking the same way on that, or what are you thinking on Spain?
I think with Spain, I would give him a 3-year, I would give it a $7.75 million deal.
All right, let's see here.
I mean, if they could do that.
And with Spain, like the thing is, it's interesting when you look at some of these teams who are rebuilding, like the Jets, Texans, some of those teams, and you give them a contract that's good, or maybe a little bit of an underpay. You kind of have to bump up that percentage guarantee, so they really get some more money, basically, to end up playing, with that team. Let's go ahead and see. We ended up signing Spain. We did sign Spain. I think that's a tremendous signing there. We have about $8 million left. You normally save about four draft picks. So is anybody like a cheap deal guy you're kind of looking at here?
From free agency or in the draft?
In the draft, we have about money for probably about one more signing.
Let's see. What about tight end?
That's kind of what I was thinking. I really like Dalton Schultz, OJ Howard, David Njoku for the Jets. I think any of those guys would be really good.
Yeah, I agree. I think I like Schultz, but I also like Zach Ertz as well. Even though I thought he was being wasted in Arizona.
Yeah, it's interesting because with Ertz, I think Schultz might have a more likely chance to go to the Jets because I feel like Ertz at this point is probably just going to end up, ring chasing with the team. And I feel like the Jets can go to the Super Bowl in a couple years, but not right now type of deal. So we'll try maybe Dalton Schultz. I don't know. The more thing about it, we have about $7 million cap space. I don't think he would be that cheap.
No, I think he's worth $10 million actually.
Yeah, so that would kind of take us, over the cap. So we'll maybe try to look for somebody cheaper.
What about Uzomah? TJ Uzomah.
Uzomah, I think he's honestly. I think he's going to kind of be in the same, boat there. I think he's going to surprise some people with his contract because he was already making $6 million. And up until this year, I think that was a major overpay. I wouldn't be surprised if he got 8 or 9 this year because he's one of the leaders of the team. He's been with us the longest, just about more than anybody for the most part, aside from a few people. So I don't really think him because I think the Bengals will overpay just to have him on the team. OJ Howard, Hayden Hurst. Let's see here.
Jared Cook could be a good fit as well.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that, Jared Cook, a guy who's getting up there in age, but, despite his age, I still think he's pretty underrated. Despite him being up there, one of the more older tight ends, he's still capable of getting 400 or 500 yards, 3 or 4 touchdowns for pretty much any team he goes to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of maybe, because you don't want to overpay him type of deal to have no money for the draft. I'm thinking maybe 3 years, $3 million for 1 year, 100% guarantee.
I agree. I think that's perfect.
That's like I'm saying, with the, guaranteed money, 1 year contract. I'm an old guy. I would kind of I would like a 1 year deal. So if I'm still good, I can play somebody else. 3 years is kind of low, but with the percentage guarantee, kind of intrigues him a little bit. Let's see if we get him. We're able to get Jared Cook. So I feel like, I would say we're probably done signing guys because we only have about $5 million left, and that's kind of 4 draft picks. And you never know. The Jets could maybe cut some more other guys as well. So when you look at this Jets team, when it comes to signing-wise, they were able to re-sign Braxton Berrios. They were also able to re-sign safety Marcus May and Eddie Pinheiro, the kicker. They were able to sign Michael Gallup, Jordan Willis, Stefan Gilmore, Quentin Spain, and Jared Cook. I feel like
that's a good team, actually. Wow.
That's a very, very good team. And who knows, like I said, the Jets might end up, cutting some more people to get some more cap space. Or maybe they don't pay as much for some of those guys or something, and then they get other guys. So it's very interesting. That's a phenomenal team.
That's a good team. That's a good signing.
Quentin Spain, I love that signing so much. And I think he would do great blocking for Zach Wilson. So as we get ready for the mock draft here, so we've already kind of tackled, left guard or corner, wide receiver. We did sign Marcus May, but if Kyle Hamilton's still available, he's somebody kind of intrigues me a little bit. with their pick. So they have multiple picks here early on. So let's see here. They have 4th pick overall, and they also have the 10th pick overall. Evan Neal is available. That is insane. Like this top 3 really makes no sense. I don't see Garrett Wilson going in the top 5, let alone the top 2. But Evan Neal, Akeem Ikwanu, the offensive tackle from NC State. Kyle Hamilton's available. This is crazy. So who are you kind of looking at here for the New York Jets with the 4th overall pick?
Oof. I really like Evan Neal. Like, I think we need offensive line help. He's the perfect one. But if we can't get Evan O'Neal, then Kenyon Green would be good. I mean, he'll be a good backup. Like, for me, we just need an offensive tackle just to protect Zach Wilson. So for me, either it's going to go with Evan O'Neal or Kenyon Green for the 4th overall pick.
I feel like Evan Neal, he's projected to be number 1, but I have seen some stuff with Akeem Ikwanu possibly jumping him. So as crazy as it sounds right now, Evan Neal being at 4 is crazy. 2 months from now when the draft happens, maybe it's not as crazy as we think. I think Evan Neal would be a great pick at number 4. We're going to take him for the Jets. And then the 10th overall pick, let's see who's available here. Derek Stingley Jr. and Andrew Booth Jr., the Marvin Leal, I think that's how you pronounce it. Some of these guys are very good. Let's see here. Kair Elam is available, the corner from Florida. He's very good. I watch Florida games like all the time. He is phenomenal. Akeem Ikwanu, some of their big boards here are kind of messed up. Like, Ikwanu will not drop to 10 because, like I said, there's a chance he could possibly jump Evan Neal. Mm-hmm. So who are some players here you're looking at the 10th overall pick for the Jets?
Let's see. I really like Andrew Booth Jr. I think he will be a good one. An underrated pick will have to be Jordan Davis as well. Jordan Davis seems pretty good. Let's see who else. And also, if not, we could just have a wide receiver there as well. I'm looking at maybe. Hold on. Either Chris Olave or Jameson Williams. Because anyone for Alabama, they always succeed in the NFL for some reason.
And it's interesting because his wide receiver group is so phenomenal. It seems like it is just about every single year the past over seasons. But the wide receiver, we were able to sign Berrios and Gallup. We have Mims, Elijah Moore, and Corey Davis. I think, our wide receiver group would already be, like the Jets wide receiver group would already be phenomenal. I feel like right here, I don't know. You mentioned Andrew Booth Jr., the corner from Clemson. I think that would be a phenomenal pick. And just with a defensive-minded guy like Robert Saleh, he's able to get the best out of his players in San Francisco, even when lots of those guys were hurt. And all of a sudden, your secondary sucks, but now you have Stefan Gilmore and Andrew Booth Jr. I think
that's actually really good.
I'm kind of leaning towards that way. Are you kind of thinking the same way there?
Yeah, I think I'm the same way. I think we draft one corner and then we sign another one.
And it's one of those situations where I believe we signed Stefan Gilmore to a 1-year contract. So if you don't have him, you still have Andrew Booth Jr. for several seasons. So defense-wise here, with the 35th pick overall, Drake Jackson, the edge from USC, kind of intrigues me. Christian Harris, the linebacker from Alabama, is very, very good. Trent McDuffie, the corner from Washington. Let's see here. Defensive tackle, Devontae Wyatt from Georgia. He's very good. Kind of surprised he's still available. Like I said, some of these rankings, like Malik Willis, zero chance he drops this far. That makes zero sense. Zion Johnson's great, but we already kind of, took Quentin Spain. Is there any kind of certain position here you're looking at in the second round?
I would take a quarterback too, just in case anything happens with Zach Wilson. I don't know if we should sign a quarterback, in the offseason. I think maybe I will have to look with a quarterback and a running back as well. I really like a quarterback, Desmond Riddler. He seems pretty cool. Seems like a good player. As for running backs, I really like either Kenneth Walker or Kyron Williams. I think they'll be good picks for like a running back to to complement Michael Carter III.
Yeah, running back, Walker, Spiller, Hall, so those guys are really, really good. Quarterback, I think it might be a little bit too early to draft one. I'm thinking like third or fourth round, because Desmond Ridder isn't a third round, even though he's not going to be your starter. I feel like that might be kind of tempting to get a backup for Wilson. But Bailey Zappi, the quarterback of West Kentucky, I like him a ton. His pocket awareness is insane. He's kind of like a mobile. I don't really know who to compare him to. Kind of like a Ben Roethlisberger, but mobile. It's really insane to watch him play. Quarterback, I think it might be a little bit too early. Running back, it's interesting, with Walker and Hall. I mean, they did recently draft Carter. I don't know. I wouldn't hate it type of deal, but is there anybody on defense you're kind of looking at specifically here?
Well, I think we already addressed the defensive part with our free agent signings and drafting, and maybe a linebacker. I mean, we need a linebacker. C.J. Mosley is always hurt, so it will be best to draft for a linebacker as well. I like Christian Harris.
Yeah, Christian Harris, to me, in my opinion, I think aside from some of these quarterbacks who shouldn't be available, I would say he's probably the best player available. And the Jets also pick in like 3 picks. So realistically, I think there's a decent chance Christian Harris might not be available 3 picks from now. I would say maybe take Christian Harris, and then maybe like if you're wanting a running back or something like that, or a different position, if that's good with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think, that'd be good for me.
So as we see here, Trent McDuffie and Chad Muma, I probably messed that up in saying that, were taken. So let's see here. So are you kind of targeting running back here? You're saying?
Yeah, Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, he had a phenomenal season this past year at Michigan State. Really, really underrated season. So we'll take him in the second round here. The Jets, let's see here. They have it's interesting because the Jets have 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks. I think they're one of the only teams to have both. They have I think only 1 third-round pick. So who is there anybody kind of looking at here? I know you mentioned Ridder, but he literally just got picked. The pick before us, which that is a tremendous pick by the Houston Texans at 68, getting Ridder. Anybody here on offense or defense you're kind of looking at?
Trey McBride could be an option for tight end as well, just in case we don't get either Schultz or Ertz. So I would draft Trey McBride. He had a good year, and also with I won't really focus on tight end for now because we already addressed the offensive line, the wide receivers, and the running backs, and linebacker as well. But for now, I think this pick should go to a tight end, and it should be Trey McBride.
I freaking love that pick. That is a tremendous value pick because I know we did sign Jared Cook, but who knows? There is a chance that Jared Cook could possibly even end up retiring in the offseason, and we did sign to a 1-year deal. So even if we get him, we still going to need a replacement in the future. Trey McBride that from Colorado State, phenomenal pick there. So we have Evan Neal, Andrew Booth Jr., Christian Harris, Kenneth Walker, and Trey McBride. With our free agency signings, when you look at it, we're able to re-sign Berrios, Marcus May, Eddie Pinheiro. We signed Michael Gallup, Jordan Willis, Stefan Gilmore, Quentin Spain, and Jared Cook. Holy crap.
Yeah, that's actually a really good signing right there.
That is a really, really nice team. And, with a quarterback who, in my opinion, I think is going to be very, very good this season. I think I'm not going to say he's going to be one of the better quarterbacks in the league, but I think he will surprise some people this year because I think his second half of the season is not being talked about enough. First half, he was not good. Second half, he was much, much better. Let's see here. So when we look at this, roster additions that the Jets had and, kind of looking at their 2022 schedule. So they play at the Browns, at Green Bay, at Miami, at the Vikings, at New England, the Bills, Patriots, and Dolphins at home, Ravens and Bengals at home, Bills, Lions at home, at Pittsburgh, at Buffalo, at Denver, and the Jaguars and at Seattle. How many games do you kind of looking here that you think the Jets will end up winning in the 2022 season based on our offseason additions?
Oof. Wow. Okay, so the game against the Cleveland Browns, we should win automatically. So that'll be 1-0. The Packers game, wow. It all depends if Aaron Rodgers returns. If Aaron Rodgers returns this season to the Packers, that's a loss. So that'll be 1-1. The Dolphins, for some strange reason, we cannot beat the Dolphins for the last 5 years. But I think next year is going to be different. So I think they'll defeat the Dolphins. That'll be a record for 2-1. The Vikings, The Vikings, That's kind of hard because the Vikings want to be a good team, but for some reason they can't. But I just do not trust Kirk Cousins if they decide to extend him or resign him. But I'll have to go with a win in Minnesota. That'll be 3-1. New England, that's going to be tough because Bill Belichick is still the coach. Mac Jones is in his second year, and he actually did well against the Jets last year. So that's going to be a loss for the Jets. That'll be 3-2. The Bills, they're like a juggernaut right now. They're the new juggernauts of the AFC East. So the game's going to be played at MetLife Stadium, so I think that's going to be a loss for us. So that will be 3-3 for us. Dolphins, I think that's going to be a win, 4-3 for us. The Patriots, I think we might steal a win at home with the Patriots, so that will be 5-3 for us. The Ravens, it all depends on Lamar Jackson being healthy. I think he's not going to be healthy throughout the entire year next year. I think he is very injury prone, and he's just a phenomenal player, but injuries just killed him. So it could be maybe 5-4 for us because we're going to lose that game to the Ravens somehow. The Bengals are, AFC champions, so you got to respect that. We beat them last year. A lot of people forget about that. I was actually at that game. I met like Halloween Day, and we had Mike White playing. And could it be a win or a loss? I think it's gonna be a loss for us because the Bengals are good, and it's gonna be a record of 5-5 there. The Bears, we can easily beat the Bears. The Bears, I don't know what's going on with them. The Lions, they're easy, so that's going to be a 7-5 record for us. Pittsburgh Steelers, It depends on who is the quarterback there. Ben Roethlisberger retired, so that's going to be 8-5 for us. The Bills, we're not beating the Bills because the Bills are too good. That's going to be 8-6. The Broncos, Again, it all depends on quarterback in Denver. So if they had the right quarterback, maybe an Aaron Rodgers, because there is talks that he wanted to go to Denver. So if he joins the team, I will have to say a loss. That will be 8-7 for us. Jacksonville Jaguars, I don't think they're ready yet. I mean, they have a nice coach in Doug Peterson. Trevor Lawrence is going to his second year. He might, do better in his second year than his first year. But I don't think it's going to be enough. So that's going to be 9-7 for us. And Seattle. It depends if Pete Carroll stays and Russell Wilson stays. But I'm just not sure about the Seahawks. So I think we steal the win at Lumen Field in Seattle, bringing our record to 10-7. And I think we'll make the playoffs as a wild card.
It's interesting when you look, at this Jets, schedule. It reminds me a lot of the Bengals schedule this past season. Everybody, the Bengals suck. They're going to finish last in the AFC type of deal. Oh, Burrow's going to get sacked. Okay, he did get sacked, but he's still in the freaking Super Bowl type of deal with the worst offensive line to be in Super Bowl in NFL history. This reminds me so much of them because I think Zach Wilson has literally unlimited potential. His offensive line is the issue. He has so many weapons, especially if they sign some of those guys that we signed and drafted type of deal. And when you look at this Jets team, I see worst case scenario. This is if everybody's healthy. Worst case, 6 wins. But realistically, I'm looking at 8-9 or 9-8. At the max, I'm saying 10 wins, and that's exactly what I said with the Bengals this past season. I said 8-9. I think they're capable of being over 500, but my max is 10. And I mean, look what happened with the Bengals. They were in the Super Bowl this past season. So it's crazy. With the Jets, I feel like they have potential to be the shot team in the NFL, and you see some of these other teams with the shot teams and stuff like that. Maybe it's the Broncos or Redskins or whoever. I mean, that would kind of surprise some people, but they already kind of have quarterbacks who have played in the NFL for a couple of seasons. The Jets don't have that. They have a guy who's only played 1 year who I think will surprise some people this year. His second half of the season is not talked about enough. It's crazy because everybody talks about Trevor Lawrence being the best draft prospect coming out of this past year's draft. In my opinion, I don't even think he was the best quarterback prospect at the draft. Zach Wilson is going to be really, really good, and I hate hearing it so freaking much being a Bengals fan. Well, if the Bengals can just get Burrow an offensive line, that's so annoying. That's like saying, wow, that's like saying that Burrow is the Bengals quarterback. Like, no,
he took that offensive line to the Super Bowl. I don't know why people are complaining about that.
And exactly, but I hate hearing people say, oh, Burrow needs an offensive line. That is true, but I feel like the same thing is with Zach Wilson. And if the Jets can get Zach Wilson the offensive line, watch out. I am very excited for them. I said this past season, aside from the Bengals, the teams I was most excited about this past year were the Broncos and the Jets. Heading into the 2022 season, obviously aside from the Bengals, probably the team I'm most excited about this year is New York Jets. With these additions, they are going to be good. I think they're going to surprise people. Possibly maybe make it to the playoffs. You said they could go to the wild card. I think it is a possibility. But, this was kind of our video of doing a New York Jets free agency mock simulation and also a New York Jets 3-round mock draft on ProFootballNetwork.com. So that kind of about does it for this video. So can you kind of tell some of the listeners who can follow you on social media and everything?
Yes, I am on social media on Instagram at KennySportsGuy1. Again, on Instagram at KennySportsGuy1. On Twitter at Kenny_sports. And on TikTok at Kenny Sports Podcast. You can find my episodes on www.kenthesportsguy.com. Ken with 2 N's. Again, www.kenthesportsguy.com. Ken with 2 N's.
Yeah, I'll definitely put the link in the description below. I've seen some of your content recently, with NFL and MLB and everything like that. Really, really nice content. You got to check that out from Kenny's stuff and the website and everything. But thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, the Sports Dude Hines Show, and on Twitter, the S Dude Hines Show. If you're new to the channel, if you've seen my videos before, make sure to like this video and subscribe. I would really, really appreciate it. And I will see you all next time on the Sports Dude Hines Show.